Well, good afternoon. I'm coming to you today with today's devotional from our scripture reading, Matthew 19 and Mark 10. The title of today's devotional is The Dilemma of Marriage, Divorce, and Remarriage. Now, today's scripture reading begins with a question that has troubled many down through the ages and continues to be misunderstood in our day. The question: is it lawful for a man to put away or divorce his wife for every or any cause? The issue of divorce was a matter of debate in Jesus' day, and the Pharisees had approached Jesus hoping to pull him into the dispute. Matthew chapter 19, verses 1 through 12. They came tempting him, wanting to discredit Christ in the eyes of the public and desiring to diminish his following. In an effort to place Jesus at odds with the law and their own liberal interpretation of the law concerning divorce, the Pharisees asked, is it lawful for a man to put away or divorce his wife for every or any cause? Now, there were two schools of thought on the matter of divorce in Jesus' day. One school held a liberal interpretation of divorce, and it was adhered to by the Pharisees and a majority of first century Christian or Jews. That school taught that a man could divorce his wife for any reason. However, a woman was not permitted to divorce her husband. Now, the second school represented the conservative, unpopular view on divorce and argued that divorce was unlawful except in the case of adultery. Now, divorce had become widespread among the Jewish people, and many Pharisees were guilty of multiple divorces, often for the most absurd reasons. Of course, such oligarchy would never permit a wife to divorce her husband for any cause. Jesus answered the Pharisees' question on divorce, directing them to the authority of the Scriptures. Divorce was and is a violation of several biblical principles. The first, divorce violates the Creator's plan and design for man and woman. Citing the writings of Moses, Jesus asked the Pharisees, have you not read that He, speaking of God, which made them at the beginning, made them male and female? A second, divorce is also a violation of God's design for marriage, which is one flesh. A man is commanded to leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. A man's bond with his wife was to overshadow all human relationships, although two individuals, husband and wife, are to be one physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, a third principle, divorce violates the sanctity of marriage. It was God's plan and His command that what He had joined or yoked together, no man, court, or judge had the power or authority to put asunder. Disregarding Jesus' appeal to consider the Scriptures as their authority in the question of divorce, the Pharisees asked, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her, that is your wife, away? Now, those hypocritical religious leaders were not interested in God's standard or design or plan for marriage. They were looking to justify their sin and disallow the sanctity of marriage. They questioned and suggested that Moses would be their defense. Well, Jesus answered their question, rebuking and exposing their wickedness as a violation of God's will and design for marriage. Leaving no ambiguity, Jesus spoke plainly. Matthew 19, verse 9. I say unto you, whosoever shall put away or divorce his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whoso marrieth her which is put away doth commit adultery. You see, divorce was never God's plan. And on the grounds for divorce, the only grounds for divorce was fornication, meaning sexual conduct with anyone who was not one's spouse. Jesus' conclusion may come as a surprise to you, as it did to some of his disciples. But remember, God's purpose and design for marriage was companionship. And we read in Genesis 2:18, it is not good that the man should be alone. God made one woman for one man. And Adam, the first man, was complete with Eve. They were one flesh, and their union was designed to be inseparable. Now, here's a warning as I close. Divorce is a rejection of God's plan and design for mankind. And God is witness of the covenant vows of marriage. Men, love your wife, and wives, love your husbands. God bless. Bye-bye.